Thank you so much, Chuck C. Thanks, Mark and Cam. Something I've been feeling lately. Are you guys seeing Jaelen Phillips under the radar on draft stock for some reason? Strange.
The reason is because he hadn't done much in a while. He left UCLA 2 years ago. He transferred to Miami and set out last year. He gained a bunch of weight, good weight. He was 6'5", 6'6", 210 pounds. He's up to 250, 260 now. And you can just see the musculature all the way through his frame, from his traps on down. You can see how much of look at his legs, man. His thighs, his calves, all these kind of things have grown, and are proportional, so you have that. And then where was the tape for him? It was one play as a freshman. He played a couple games as a sophomore, and then, he left the team and everything, and he flashed a couple of times. But where was the tape to make people think this kid, who was the number one overall recruit in the 2017 recruiting class, has that ability still, or has the ability at this level to potentially translate up to the next level? Because at the high school level, bona fides, verifieds, boom, you can go watch the film. But where is he really shown outside of, a pretty decent freshman year? Where's he shown that? He hadn't. But not, and at the beginning of the year, it was maybe one or two plays a game. Flash. Whew, man, he's quick, right? Oh, he's big, tall, and long arms and all those kind of things. Like, whoa, he bent that edge. He ran the U or ran the banana and all those kind of things. And then it gets a little bit more. It gets a little bit more. It gets a little bit more. And now it's just like, oh my God, 2-time ACC Defensive Player of the Week or Defensive End of the Week, and things like that. Like, he's now putting those things together where he was not on the radar heading into this season because he hadn't done anything in 2 years. And now he's kind of talking his way. He's being talked onto the radar for the NFL draft. I think that he needs another mango season. I would really like to see this progression continue, because then you're talking a top 2-round draft pick at the end of next year if he has the same the same progressional path that we've seen from him and performance. Okay, yeah, now you're talking the top 64 draft pick, and now we're really cooking with fish grease. But I think that because of his chronology, as in his age, and I think because of his size and his skill set, he is being talked of, because now with Miami on television and, Miami being Miami and Miami only having one loss and even playing well against Clemson, you're starting to say, oh, hey, I remember that kid now. Cool. But not so much whereas to say, okay, yeah, he needs to be a top 64, top 32 pick. Not to there yet.
Okay, New King God, thank you, Super Chat, appreciate that. Offensive or defensive-minded head coach, which way do you go? I'm going to just make one line comment before Cam dives into it, because I think defense wins championships means something, but I think it means less than it has at any time in football. The offense is taking over, and I think it's a real thing, and I think that you go for the best program build, depending on where your state in life is as a football program. But we're talking about program builders. You go for the guy that knows both sides of the ball and just knows how to CEO and build and communicate and relate to people and build a system and a culture and do all those things. I can't lean either way. But if there's a dividing line, or if there's a lean, from me, it's offense today.
I don't really care as long as you empower, or as long as you empower the offensive coaches. That has to be something where, and like to Mark's point, I think that offense is your number one want as a program builder. So it's offense first, then the defense, and hope, and then go from there. So you can be a defensive-minded coach, but if you empower the offense to be great, if you're having, the right coaches and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, obviously, and people think, okay, well, the defensive coaches don't know anything about offense. They defend offenses, so they know about the offense. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys have coached on both sides of the ball. But so you know what you want, and then you go get the best people to do that based upon the skill set of the, talent that you have on the roster. You recruit to, whatever you need and want and things like that. So whether it's the head coach or not, or the head, whether it's the head coach himself, a la Lincoln Riley, or not, a la Nick Saban, I don't really care. But both of those guys empower their offenses and offensive coordinators and those coaches on the side of the ball to be dynamic. And okay, Lincoln Riley's over there calling plays. He's the quarterback whisperer. He's developed guys himself. Cool. You've seen Nick Saban yelling at and undressing all kinds of guys. Lane Kiffin, Brian Daboll, who's probably going to be on the short list for an NFL head coaching job. Steve Sarkisian now. I mean, it doesn't matter, but he's empowered a variety of guys in the seat of offensive coordinator to build and run a dynamic offense. As he himself, a defensive coach, a former defensive backs coach, former defensive coordinator, saying, look, I'm over here, and I know what it is tough for us and everything, but you got to go and do that on offense. You know what I mean? So for me, as long as you do have a guy with a clarity of purpose, with a certainty of self and identity for your program, I don't really care if the head coach is offensive or defensive. But come hell or high water, whether they are or are not, they have to either coach it themselves or empower their coaches to be dynamic on offense. That is the number one thing on my staff. If not me, then somebody else sitting next to me to be able to do that. That's my belief.